Hi, let's have a look at IoTeX, ticker symbol IOTX, which is currently going up more than 100% in the last 24 hours. IoTeX is now at 16 cents. The price is going parabolic. And so IoTeX now has a market cap of 1.5 billion and is the 82nd largest cryptocurrency. Now, does it make sense to jump on this momentum here? And what's actually causing this? The reason is an announcement with traveler.com. You can now go to traveler.com and use IoTeX to book flights, hotels, tours. So you can use IoTeX as a payment currency for this platform. And so that's what's causing this recent rise, this incredible increase of almost 200% in the last days. Now here's my take on this based on technical analysis, based on looking at the charts, not so much based on fundamental analysis, because here on this channel we focus on the charts, on the data. I was actually quite surprised to see such a partnership with IoTeX, because in the end IoTeX is meant to be the cryptocurrency for the Internet of Things, right? Similar to IOTA, it's a competitor to IOTA. And so seeing now IoTeX partnering with a travel website is definitely something I didn't have on my radar. Now this here is the long-term US dollar chart, right? On a logarithmic scale. And usually I don't like to draw these kind of lines, at least on the US dollar chart. And that's because the US dollar valuation of cryptocurrencies is heavily influenced by the general market. And with the general market, I mainly mean Ethereum. If we look here at the long-term Ethereum chart, we can see the top here in the middle of May. It corresponds with a top here in IoTeX as well. It also happened here around May. If we look at the bottom, we can see here a bottom around the 22nd or so of June. And when we look at IoTeX, same story, 22nd of June, we have a bottom. So altcoins are very heavily correlated with Ethereum. And so really what you need to look at when analyzing altcoins is the relative performance to other cryptocurrencies. And so what we're going to do now is we will look at the relative performance to Bitcoin. So this is now the IoTeX price divided by the Bitcoin price. Here we've got IoTeX in Ethereum, which I think is a very valuable chart because Ethereum is basically the leader of altcoins, right? It's also the most correlated to altcoins. Here I like to show this correlation matrix. This is the correlation coefficient of different cryptocurrencies between each other, the correlation of the daily returns. And what we see here is when we look at different altcoins versus Ethereum, they tend to be higher correlated than those altcoins with Bitcoin. So really wherever Ethereum is moving, that's where altcoins tend to move. It's not so much where Bitcoin is moving. Bitcoin is not really showing the market direction for altcoins. Ethereum is. And so this correlation coefficient is pretty high, right? 0.65. If you want to know, for example, what's the correlation coefficient of stocks to Bitcoin and how did it develop over time, that's this chart over here. We can see it's increasing over time. So this is just a 2-year moving average of the correlation coefficient. So it's increasing over time, but now we are around 0.2, 0.3. So that's how much Bitcoin and stocks move in tandem, right? The correlation coefficient measures how much do assets move in tandem? How likely are they to move in the same direction at the same time? And so when we look at Bitcoin versus stocks, they are not that likely, right? When it's 1, when this number is at 1, it means they always move in the same direction. When it's at -1, it always means they move in opposite directions. So one asset goes down, one asset goes up at the same point in time. That's -1. So when you construct a portfolio of several assets, you want to have this correlation coefficient as low as possible on this chart. So it does make sense to combine Bitcoin and stocks in one portfolio. It reduces overall portfolio volatility. Now that was quite a segue away from IoTeX, but still the correlation coefficient here of Ethereum to altcoins on average is 0.65. It is pretty high. They tend to move in the same direction. And so since the tops and the bottoms, they also match up in terms of timing, let's look now at the relative performance of IoTeX to Ethereum. And I find this chart very, very interesting because it gives a trading range. And we see this with quite a lot of altcoins, actually. We very often see that altcoins tend to oscillate with Ethereum in a trading range, even though this trading range can be quite large, right? Here from bottom to top, we have a 400% increase, or if you measure it the other way around, right, you have a 80% loss. So that's the trading ranges we are dealing with here. And not every altcoin looks like this, right? Some altcoins, they do outperform Ethereum. Look, for example, at Solana, look at Phantom. Those kind of altcoins, they have a rising trend over here. If you have an altcoin that moves in tandem with Ethereum, just simply in a trading range, then I think it does make sense to rather trade that asset than to simply hodl it over the long term. Because really, when you buy an altcoin, that's more risky than Ethereum. And I would argue something that's only got 0.06% market dominance versus Ethereum around 19%. I would argue simply because it being way smaller, it has got more risk, right? It has got less adoption. It has got a smaller community. There's more risk here. And so this additional risk should be compensated with additional performance over the long term. But if you don't get that additional performance, if instead you only see the same performance, then why hold IoTeX over the very long term? At least if all you care about is momentum, is charts, is technical analysis. Of course, you can have your fundamental reasons to have IoTeX. If you think this will turn around and if maybe over the long term we might see an outperformance over Ethereum. But if you're simply trading based on charts, this looks, in my humble opinion, pretty dangerous. I think the current 16 cents or so are not very inviting. Nobody knows the future, right? Nobody knows for sure where something is going. I'm just trying to figure out risks versus rewards, what makes sense to trade short term. And another point I want to point out here is trading volume. What we very often see with small altcoins is that they tend to go up. They tend to peak in price whenever trading volume is high. So look at this, for example, here, the 24th of May. The price on the 24th of May was very elevated and the trading volume was very elevated as well. Once the trading volume went down, the price went down as well. And we have this repeatedly. Look at this, for example, here, the 30th of April, again, the price very high, the trading volume very high. Once trading volume went down, the price went down. And my explanation for this pattern is that trading volume tends to be elevated when attention is elevated, right? When news come out, when something special is happening with the cryptocurrency. And so a lot of people get active with the cryptocurrency. A lot of people buy into it. And this attention is very often short-lived. It switches from altcoin to altcoin. We all want to outperform. We all want to go and catch those rallies. And it's always different cryptocurrencies that rally, right? And so once the hype is over, trading volume goes down again and the price might come down again. And so when we just look at the recent peak, again, trading volume is pretty high, price is pretty high. This does not mean that very short term it can't peak higher, right? We used to have way higher trading volume before. Actually, let me get this on another tab here. So we used to have higher trading volume before, and so the price spiked higher. So nobody says that the trading volume can't again triple from here and the price could go even further. But that kind of increase is likely to be short term again, right? This kind of increase will not be over the next weeks. If I would have to make a bet, if you want to know my opinion, I would say that it's very likely that IoTeX might lose again versus Ethereum in a few weeks from here. It might go short term a bit further up, who knows, but then we probably see again a bleed similar to what we have seen before. The attention will shift away again. Another altcoin will get all the attention again, and so people that bought IoTeX over here, they might now offload their cryptocurrency and drag the price down again. So if you're wondering about the price prediction in the next 1 or 2 days, that's very hard to say, right? It's very hard to say if this short-term rally here will go a bit further. But if you're wondering about my price prediction in, say, the next 2 or 3 weeks, then I wouldn't be surprised to see again a bleed versus Ethereum, an underperformance versus Ethereum, which does not necessarily mean that the US dollar price has to go down, right? If all of crypto goes up, if Ethereum suddenly doubles in price, then this will obviously also be beneficial for IoTeX. But if Ethereum doubles in price, then IoTeX might only go up 0.5x or so. Simply because relative performance matters, right? It matters where the money flows between the cryptocurrencies. And so simply based on technical analysis, not looking at fundamentals at all, I think it's wise not to take this trade right now. But again, I'm not always right. And especially when fundamentals tend to be very positive for an altcoin, all of this technical analysis can be overruled, right? This is not a method without any flaws. But in the end, we are working here with probabilities, right? We are working with odds. We are working with risk versus reward. And so I don't think the reward is really that high for the potential risk that we might face here versus cryptocurrencies that are way larger and thus have a lower risk profile. Please give this video a like in case you enjoyed it, because it will help the channel grow. And if you haven't yet, feel free to subscribe as well. I publish videos regularly. Last but not least, we've got a Telegram channel. We just crossed 1,000 members. Feel free to join us as well. You can find us by simply searching for Bitcoin Strategy Channel within the Telegram app. Alternatively, there's also a link in the video description. See you next time. Bye bye.